Hi everyone, this is John from MtG Modern Ad Nauseam, and welcome to this wrap-up of the league number 2. So I just finished the match 5 a few minutes ago, and what I want to do, like I did with the wrap-up in the League 1, is just reflect on the 5 match and we've just played. Also looking at the 5 match of the first league, and just reflect on why we lost the match that we lost, and maybe find some fine tuning that we can put in the deck to have better chance next time. So if we just reflect quickly on the 5 match, if I just look at the league, the overall matchup of the league, it was pretty bad compared to League 1, where on the contrary, in the League 1 we had 5 favorable to good matchup. So that's what I mentioned in my first wrap-up, that we should be disappointed that we didn't go 5-0 in here, because that was definitely a matchup that we should expect to go 5-0. 5 favorable to good matchup. In here there was the complete opposite. We had 4 unfavorable to impossible-ish matchup and 1 favorable matchup. So we did pretty much how we were expected to end up with 3 loss against our bad matchup. I would consider the red-white prison as a very, very bad matchup. Haven't played much, but my few attempts were usually pretty unsuccessful and pretty bad. I think that's this main board, Blood Moon and Calice, and don't even know if there's other things that can interact very badly with us, but we're gonna expect to lose more often than not against that deck. Abzan, it's overall unfavored matchup, even though we'll still wins often against Abzan and John. I would say the equivalent for us. We will manage to steal some wins. It's not as bad a prison or infect. I would say the really good thing for me is to have a win against Infect 2-0. It's just good to know that that is just possible, and I don't believe our opponents had bad hands. He definitely didn't have perfect hands or great hands. His game 1 was turn 4 kill, and his game 1 was turn 4 kill, and game 2 was, I think, turn 5 kill. So turn 4 kill, it's not slow hand, it's definitely not the fastest that Infect can do, but Infect cannot just turn 3 kill constantly all the time. So having a turn 4 kill, I would say, is a decent hand for Infect. Turn 5 kill, I would say that's starting to look slow. So of course we need a bit of help from our opponents. We don't want him to have very good draw. On our side, we also have a bit of luck with good draw and good spells. But if things get together, we can have a 2-0 win against Infect. It's not even a 2-1, it's a 2-0 win against Infect. So that's possible. So it will just help me in the future, being confident when we see a turn 1 Noble Hayak, Breeding Pool Noble Hayak. We can be confident that it can go well for us. So I would say that's a good thing to have from that league. Okay, so if we look at, I just put a very quick and short comment on why my interpretation of why we lost the game, and we can see that lack of counter. I would say just in general lack of interaction against Jeskai Control and Pyromancer. Don't remember exactly the match, but against Jeskai Control, we lost. We lost 1 game because we couldn't draw a land over 10 turns. So that's fine. That just happens. But game 2 was just we had less counter than our opponent. So I think the spoil version that we're using. I used to play a lot with Mystical Teaching. I used to have Tolaya West in the main board. All this thing helps a lot to fetch for Pact, and that will greatly help the matchup. So I would suggest that in our next league, we're just gonna make a bit of fine tuning and add some of these counters. We can add the Tolaya West. We can add, like I said, the Mystical Teaching, for example. So all these things are gonna help us. Maybe we can try a second Giga Drowse. We haven't been able to use it over the past 10 match, but it would have definitely helped a lot, and it would have made us won a game against Jeskai Control for sure. And Pyromancer Ascension I don't remember, because that's the deck that can be quite fast. So yes, so I would say the next fine-tuning will be a little bit more interaction, maybe 1 or 2 more cards that can increase our matchup against blue deck. And we see this card also appears twice against Abzan and Eldrazi Taxes. So this card, it's difficult though to get more fuel against this card. We have 4 Line of Sanctity, and unfortunately we can't go more than that. Otherwise we would do it. We would go way more than 4. We can try the new land, the Nephalia Academy, the land that's just this card back on top of our library, if we're happy with that. I've tried it once in one league just before I started the channel. It went terribly. I managed to do a turn 1 Nephalia against Jund, and I still lost terribly. On the other hand, I hear a lot of good feedback about that card, so I might just give it another go, because a lot of people on the MTG Salvation forum where I go quite often, they mentioned they had quite a lot of good results based on that card. So we might play either one in the main or in the sideboard. In terms of when I mention lack of counter and also discard problem, there is one card that I find good in both situations. Is Mikokoro, so Center of the Sea, the land that allows us to pay 2 for to draw. Each player, of course, draw a card. So it will help us digging for more interaction. While it's okay having our opponents draw a card, because our opponent it's a bit unfair, but our opponents need to pay mana to counterspell, while we don't need to pay mana. So if we manage to draw 4 Pact of Negation and we make our opponents draw 4 negates, it's unlikely that our opponent will be able to cast the 4 negates. And by the way, we'll need a 5th one, because we're going to be the one that casts the spell. So Mikokoro will definitely help us even if we make our opponents draw. And it helps against discards as well, because if we get discarded, we need just more fuel, so having more draw will definitely help us. Of course, nothing compare, it's nowhere close to a Pact of Negation effect or Leyline of Sanctity effect, but that's something that can be used in both cases. So I would say, based on that common column, that's something that we might want to try. And then Blood Moon Chalice. So that was just in single match. So I would say maybe the MTGO meta, but it's difficult to say just because of this 10 match. Especially we were in the friendly one. Maybe the competitive meta is slightly different. If I can see that Blood Moon is not that as used as I thought, we can just remove our Patrician Scorn, for example, and bring something else. Bring something else like a counter spell or anything that can help us to improve this match. Okay, so I did something very stupid against the Eldrazi Taxes. It's 2-0, but technically we should have a win here. Like I said, I did the video right after. I said it was pretty late, so I had problem with counting how much mana I need to combo with Talia. So I think it's good and that it happened now, so I can just get my head around playing Talia. So it is 9 mana to go with Angel Grace. It is 9 mana, but the thing is, because Lightning Storm costs 4, but we can potentially have 4 Simian. We might have 4 Simian Spirit Guide to use, so it might be. It depends on the case. It depends on whether we use Simian Spirit Guides. It depends on whether we go with Phyrexian and Life, because Phyrexian and Life help us quite a lot. We save 2 mana compared to the Angel Grace combo, and it depends also if we can have another land drop after we do the Ad Nauseam. So it depends quite a lot. So I need to be more careful with Talia, and there will be a lot of different kind of situation we need to think about. So that's gonna be a good reminder for me next time we play against Talia. To refocus on the count and not screw up. But luckily we still managed to get the count right while it mattered before dying. But I ended up lightning storm my face. So what I can do is, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pause the video and I'm gonna try to go back. Whether if I can see a history of the match and see what I did wrong. Alright, so that's what it looked just before I did something stupid. So I was just nicely going through all the trigger and stating that I do not want to change target for Lightning Storm. And what happened is, so I went to the last one, and what happened is I thought my opponent tried to, he had 1 card in hand, so he could technically have a land and try to do something here. So I remove that Lightning Storm trigger, and then there is one more, and then I remove the Lightning Storm trigger. Then there is no more, and what happened here is something pop up. So I think I was correct. I was correct that my opponent tried to discard a land. Okay, let's try to understand what I've done so we don't get to that point. And then he's putting 2 charges. You may choose another target for it. Did he choose me? How can I know? And in response, okay, I understand what I've done. That's good that so I did it in response. So, and I asked to change the target here, and I said yes, I want to change the target to and I clicked to my opponent, so it probably did the job. But then this thing was on the stack, and then he redirected to me. And it was actually rather easy even at that stage. I was at 22, and it was clear that based on the arrow that the spell is going back to me. So I could have discarded a land here and redirect to him again and then win the match. So I didn't do it, and I thought I did my job, and I just lost the game with 25 infect damage. So that's okay. It's glad that it happens to me now when we were already 2-2 and we had no chance of going 5-0 or anything. We were playing a friendly, so even if I lose, I don't lose. I lose 20 points, I think, 20 player points. That's pretty much the extent of my mistake, even though we still don't know if we would have won the game, which was unlikely based on that we were on the draw in that kind of matchup. But I will say it's alright. It's good for me to learn this, so I would do the mistake once, and hopefully I won't do it again. Alright, so I think I'm pretty much done with this wrap up. I really hope that in the next, let's say in the next months, when I get a few more leagues done, we'll have a very nice spreadsheet here with a lot of matchup and a lot of information for us to understand where is our problem and how our matchup looks like. That's a spreadsheet that I think I would like to share this more in detail in a specific video maybe later, because I have pretty much all the matchup that I've done ever at my local game store. So it's not always Ad Nauseam. I've played other deck before, but that's something that I would be happy to share with you guys. I also have some other MTGOs, but I'm only showing here the one since I've started the channel. Maybe something I could go in detail, because I have also a results tab that do a summary of the matchup, so we could see how we go with quite a lot of matchups. But I would like to get some data first, and especially some MTGO league competitive data. And then we should be able to get some nice stat and start to to see where our deck is positioned in the meta at the moment. So I believe is well positioned. We do have some very tough matchup we saw, but we still have some good matchup and that are really relevant at the moment. I am still waiting to face a Dredge, and maybe if I look at playing competitive league next time, I might have more Dredge matchup. It should be a good matchup. I've played Dredge many times on paper. I've always won. When I say many times, I think it's 3 or 4 times. On the forums, I've only heard about good feedback against Dredge matchups, so we hope to get more of these. We have a good matchup against Burn, which is something that's always nice to have. Or all tier 1 deck, probably one of the top decks at the moment. We won against Affinity. I don't think we have a very good matchup, but I think we are 50-50 against Affinity, I would say. And we could be much more if we decide to be better with Echoing Truth, for example. Sorry, not Echoing Truth, Hercules Recall. Of course, we're not good against Jun or Abzan, but that's unfavorable. So we are gonna win against those decks. I would say maybe 40% of the time. I would say that's the correct percentage. But yes, we're gonna struggle against Eldrazi Taxes. We're gonna struggle against this Prison deck. This kind of deck that I'm not expecting to see a lot. We're gonna be good against the Grixis Delver. Not sure how it's played here on MTGO. And Cultural deck. We should be good against Cultural deck once again. Surprisingly, I've lost I think my last 2 or 3 matches against Jeskai Control. Or control, pure control, maybe blue-white control, which is surprising because I think I've won, I think it was 8-0 or something like that in my first 4 match against Jeskai Control. So it's quite polarized. A lot of good win first and a lot of defeat after that. But I think we're good, and we should be able to be a bit better once I side out this Lullaby. I guess it's not gonna make it into our next league, and maybe bring some more interaction with those kind of decks. Alright, so next deck I will be presenting the deck tech of my League 3. There will be some changes. I have plenty of ideas. I will just keep them for that specific video. We're gonna make some changes, some rogue changes maybe. We're gonna try to use a few of the deck tech that we learned from Semro, the player that went to the final of the last ACG. I'm tempted to use a couple of his cards just to see how it plays out, and hopefully we get to this 5-0. That's gonna be our goal for the next few leagues. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in League 3.